Ooh, boom! Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, March 15th of 2025. We have some National Arena League action that happened last night. The Idaho Horsemen traveled to Sioux City to take on the Bandits. And we're just going to recap a little bit of some action from last night. Thanks for tuning in. First and foremost, I want to say congrats to the Sioux City Bandits for rebounding from their Week 1 loss. And, man, they did it. They did it in fashion. They did it well. The coaching staff looked good. Their defense was solid. They have some new wrinkles in their offense that was quite interesting and fun to watch. First and foremost, the Idaho Horsemen received the ball first. And Caleb Lowe, right off the bat, he looked like he was pretty comfortable throwing the ball. He has a good throwing motion. They're moving the ball, and there was this play where they got this trips right, a quick slant. He throws it to another guy named Caleb McAway, who catches the ball, and he just sprinting right up the middle of the field. And right off, I'm like, whoa, okay, here's a new guy. He's a playmaker, and already Idaho looks like a different team from last year. That's what's going through my mind. Well, he's a fighter, a big dude, Caleb McAway, and refused to go down. And there's another great player, Laronji McCoy, gets his hands in there and strips the ball. As he's taking Caleb McAway down, he strips the ball, gives the ball right to Sioux City. One moment, I'm like, wow, Idaho looks better. And then I'm like, oh, it's either a mistake by Idaho, a great play by Laronji McCoy for Sioux City, or both. I'm going to say both because that guy balled out last night. Laronji McCoy really balled out. Anyway, Sioux City gets the ball, and they drive down the field from what it looked like to me was quite comfortably. They cap it off with a Andrew Prohaska 1-yard run, which is really, really funny because I was listening to the Beaumont game, Sioux City at Beaumont, and the commentator, it was really, really funny. On one play, they give the ball to Drew Prohaska, and he says they give it to Drew Holakowski, and he couldn't pronounce Prohaska, Holakowski, or something like that. And so the rest of the game, he just called him Drew. He wasn't even going to attempt to pronounce Prohaska. It was really funny. They give it to Drew, and it looks like he was throwing it to Drew, and Drew's in for a touchdown. He wasn't going to say Prohaska the rest of the game. I thought it was pretty fun. That is a complete side tangent. Anybody who listens to me knows I'll get that way. Drew Prohaska scores the touchdown. Greg Connery hits the extra point. It's 7-0 Sioux City. Next possession, it's an interception. They throw an interception. And, Chris Perry, who also played a great game, he gets the interception, and Sioux City wastes no time. Tyler Lonstein, filling in for the injured Verlon Reed, throws a great pass to Brendan Shepard, 29 yards touchdown. 13-0 Sioux City. It's just like they're running away with it already. Well, then Idaho gets the ball, and they give shades of last year. Couldn't convert on third down. They get 4th and long, and they can't convert, and Sioux City takes over. And the franchise, Fred Bruno, 3-yard touchdown run. Greg Connery hits the extra point, 20-0 Sioux City. They just look good. But then comes an interesting sequence in that the next possession, Caleb Lowe gets hit hard. There is a roughing the passer call that gives the Idaho Horsemen a first down. But Caleb Lowe's laying on the turf for what seemed like 5 minutes. I mean, I'm holding my breath, hoping that he's okay. I think everybody was hoping that he was okay. There was even Sioux City's trainers over there checking him out. I don't know how he's doing this morning, but I hope and pray that Caleb Lowe is okay. Giovanni Sanders comes into the game. And this is something that's new. This right here was something that's new for Idaho. They did have another quarterback on a road game. They didn't have that last year. In fact, pretty much every road game that they played last year, they had a different quarterback because their starter wouldn't travel for road games. So this was interesting. Giovanni Sanders comes in and he added to the game a little bit. Idaho Horsemen had no rushing attack. He had pretty good escapability, and they drive down the field. And here's what really got me. There is this play where Giovanni Sanders throws a high pass to the corner of the end zone, and Justin Clarkson, big guy, big hands, he goes up, he's double covered, he goes up and high points this ball. He clearly has both hands on the ball, secure. He clearly hits the wall and has both feet land in the end zone while Laronji McCoy has one hand on the ball. Now, here's where it gets opinionated. And look, I am willing to be corrected on this, okay? I get a lot of things wrong, but I've watched football for 30 freaking years. And every time I've seen this in any football league, the play is dead when the receiver has control of the ball and both feet are in, or in arena case, his foot hits the wall. Justin Clarkson gets both hands on the ball. Both feet land inbounds. He even hits the wall while he's got control over it. Laronji Vason McCoy has one hand on it. The play should have been dead right there. Touchdown, Idaho Horsemen. It should have been completely dead. And credit to Laronji Vason McCoy. He actually did exactly what he should have done. He fights for that ball. He gets the other hand on it, and he's wrestling down to the ground, pulls down Justin Clarkson to the turf, and ends up with the ball. The refs review it. They call it an interception. If a runner takes the football, he dives for the end zone, the ball crosses the plane and then gets punched out for a fumble, it's still a touchdown. The play is dead the moment the ball crosses that end zone line. Even if he fumbles, it's a touchdown. If he fumbles before, it's a fumble. It's the same thing with a catch. It's the same thing when a receiver catches, has both hands on it, gets both feet down. It's a touchdown right then and there. This reminds me of the whole Calvin Johnson thing in the NFL when he's playing against the Bears, where he goes up and makes a catch. He comes down with both feet. His butt hits the ground, and then he uses the ball to just kind of leverage himself standing up, and the NFL decides to call it a no catch. Or the Des Bryant no catch that was a catch that they admitted later was a catch in the playoffs against the Packers. I mean, look, I love the NAL, but please do not turn into the NFL. Justin Clarkson, you got robbed. Idaho Horsemen, you got robbed. Sioux City, you guys played a way better game. You won the game fair and square. That doesn't take away from anything that you did. It doesn't take anything from what Laronji Vason McCoy did. He played that play great. He did exactly what he should. But so did Justin Clarkson. He's double covered. He's a big body boy. He high points that ball, makes a great play on it, and he got utterly robbed. That's touchdown, Idaho Horsemen. In any league, anywhere. I want to say this about the refs. It's very hard to be a ref. It's a thankless job. You're always getting blamed for stuff. You're always getting yelled at and told how to do your job and all that kind of stuff. And I don't want to tell the refs how to do their job. I really don't. I think refs sacrifice so much. They're great people. They take on a lot of pressure on their shoulders. I think for the most part, they called a pretty decent game. There were some penalties that were called that I think shouldn't have been penalties, but there were times where people thought there should have been a pass interference, then there was no call, that I agreed with them. It should be a no call. There was some foot entanglement several times that's just like, it's not exactly pass interference, and they let that slide. And then there were other moments where it was a clear pass interference and they didn't call it, but that's to be expected. The game moves so fast. It is lightning fast. And these guys do a pretty good job at seeing things, and they do a pretty good job at learning the rule book and calling a game. So I don't want to take anything from the refs, but I'm sorry. I believe you got this wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think that needs to be cleaned up. I would love to see an acknowledgement from the officials that, yeah, we probably should have called that different. Probably won't. To the Idaho Horsemen, you guys played a better game than that score suggests. Let me just put it that way. The turnovers were a killer. 2 for 5 on fourth down conversions, not good. 2 for 8 on third down conversions, not good. Time of possession was pretty equal. Sioux City had a total of 207 offensive yards. Idaho, 180. That's 27 yards different. There's a couple things I think that needs to be cleaned up. Like, man, Devontae Wright had 2 sacks. Carlton Watkins is like a rocket. He got this blitz right up the gut, and he looked like a rocket shooting out of a cannon when he gets a sack late in the game. And the pass breakups. Sioux City had 7 pass breakups. It's like every time Giovanni Sanders was trying to do a dump pass, the D linemen and linebackers would just get their hands on the ball. Tons of pass breakups. It's just like clearing up all the passing lanes. I think that Idaho really needs to clean up their offense, and have some protection in the backfield, keep a guy back there to lay an initial block before going out for a dump pass or something like that. There were some great play calls, too. Their quad formation was very interesting and sometimes quite effective. I'm getting way off track. Anyway, they didn't call it a touchdown. They called it an interception for Laronji Vason McCoy. Good credit to them. And right off the bat, as an insult to injury, Lonstein throws a deep ball to Damon Powell that gets him on like the 2-yard line. And then insult to insult injury, they put in Chris Perry from defense in the game and hand the ball to him, and he runs it in. 26-0 Bandits. Right before the half, there was a great play by Giovanni Sanders where the D lineman comes, and it looked like a shore sack for a second, and then Sanders sidesteps him and flings the ball to Rashad Flanders for a 7-yard touchdown. So Idaho gets on the board just before the half. Second half, Sioux City marches right down the field. No problem. They're running the game. They want to run out the clock. They just hand it off basically the whole way down the field. They throw a 8-yard touchdown pass to Brandon Shepard. Greg Connery hits the extra point, 33-6. Then we go toward the end of the third quarter, and again, it was kind of the same stuff. Idaho just couldn't convert. You get down there, Sioux City runs the ball a lot more, and they get Devon Blair into the game. And, Devon Blair, he played, I think, a game or two for Idaho last year, and now he's on Sioux City, and he was quite effective. That's a new wrinkle to Sioux City's offense that I think people are going to have to pay attention to because they've got weapons all over the place. Devon Blair is just another weapon. Anyway, he gets the rock, gets a 1-yard touchdown run, 39-6, Sioux City. And it's go time, basically. It's fourth quarter now, and Idaho gets the ball. Sanders does a side pass to Kyler Hansen, who hits the afterburners, makes some nice cuts, and he goes 39 yards. It's a one-play 39-yard drive. 31 seconds off of the clock in that drive. They score a touchdown. They go for 2. Giovanni Sanders throws a nice pass. Caleb McAway makes a nice catch at 39-14. And then Sioux City just does what they do. They grind out the clock. They move the ball effectively. Andrew Prohaska has an amazing diving, touchdown into the end zone, 46-14, Sioux City, and Idaho tries to make it interesting, gets down there and just can't convert. So 46-14 is your final, Sioux City Bandits. The play selection was quite interesting, including QB scrambles. Idaho had 10 rushing attempts to Sioux City's 25. Idaho had, I kid you not, 40 passing attempts to Sioux City's 14. Sioux City runs the ball well. That was their bread and butter. And they threw a couple really nice long balls, too. Damon Powell with a 42-yard reception. Brandon Shepard with a 29-yard reception and a touchdown. A dump pass to Devon Blair for 17 yards. So they could move the ball. They opened up the field. Great plays all the way around. Giovanni Sanders filling in for the injured Caleb Lowe. He was 13 of 29 with an interception that wasn't really an interception. He had 2 touchdown passes that should have been 3 touchdown passes. Giovanni Sanders really statistically would have had a really, really good game if that call would have went right. The only thing that I saw from Giovanni that really I think he could improve is he had a lot of overthrows and a lot of underthrows. So the depth, the accuracy on the depth of his ball is what I think needs to be improved. Kyler Hansen, 5 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. That's to be expected. He's just a baller all the way around. Caleb McAway, 4 catches for 41 yards. Man, that guy did not want to go down. There was one play where they do this dump pass to him. It looked like he would be stopped short of the first down, but he refused to go down. It took 5 Bandits to take him down. And he still wouldn't go down when 4 of them were there. And then Juan Moore comes behind him and is just like, hey, I'm just going to lift up this leg and pull him backwards. Grabbed his other leg that he was driving with and pulled him backwards. He finally went down. Caleb McAway, great fighter, great, awesome player, but he just needs to know when to go down. Probably should have gone down instead of let the ball get stripped from him. Congrats to Sioux City, 46-14. They move on. It's actually 46-20. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to say that right now. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Let's dance. Couple more games tonight. We've got the Colorado Spartans at the Omaha Beef and the Wheeling Miners at the Carolina Cobras. Thanks for listening, y'all. Come back next time.